Hi, gentlemen. I believe we got it all wrong. I believe we have been looking in the wrong places as to what actually controls and inhibits or shuts off or creates a ceiling of hypertrophy or muscle gain. So, historically, in the scientific community, there has been a push or a viewpoint that what actually creates and potentiates hypertrophy is actually protein synthesis or the net protein accretion that one can create within a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, or even a year. So that has been the viewpoint of science as regards to what actually limits hypertrophy. What is the bottleneck? And I would actually like to spend a couple of minutes talking to you about what actually constitutes a bottleneck and why it is so important that we actually establish what actually limits or what is the rate limiting step of hypertrophy, to put it best. So, I come from the geek, nerdy computer world. So, when I was a teenager, I was very into computers, building my own PCs. I have my water-cooled PC with my SwiftTech CPU gold-plated water-cooled block and all the radiators and stuff. So I was very much into the PC building and the PC world. And one thing that I actually got from it is the notion of bottleneck. So a bottleneck in biology is basically the rate limiting step of a certain process, as it is with computers. So let's say I want to play Call of Duty. And really what makes Call of Duty an immersive experience for me is that the frame rate is adequate and the resolution needs to be quite good. So if the frame rate is good, it's high, at least 60 FPS, and if the image quality is high as well, then I will have a great experience playing Call of Duty. And within the system, the hardware, there are bottlenecks, which means that there are components of that PC that are the slowest, or there is one component of all of that PC that is the slowest component of them all. So it can be the CPU, can be the RAM, can be the graphics card, but if one of those components is slower than all of the rest, that will be the bottleneck, because your computer can only be as fast, can only be as good as its weakest link. Makes sense. So in biology terms, we call this the rate limiting step. So in glycolysis, for example, the rate limiting step is the phosphofructokinase. It's the enzyme that controls the rate of glycolysis, or the maximum rate of glycolysis at any one point. Which means that glycolysis, the breakdown of glucose to make ATP, can only go as fast as phosphofructokinase, or as the max velocity of the phosphofructokinase. And bringing it back, if we are looking at the hypertrophy model, the muscle building model, the muscle growth model, it's kind of the same thing. So if we want to actually establish, firstly, we also need to know that there has to be a rate limiting step, right? There has to be something that is the slowest or is the most difficult thing to push in the direction of hypertrophy. You can stimulate hypertrophy, but if you have some sorts of anabolic brakes, those will hamper and limit hypertrophy. If you have certain steps, certain enzymes that are slower than the rest of the machinery, that will be the rate limiting step. So firstly, we need to acknowledge that everything in biology has a rate limiting step, and it's no different for hypertrophy. The problem is that I believe we've been looking in the wrong direction. That is what I would like to talk to you about in the upcoming videos, is that we need to start looking at hypertrophy, at muscle building, in a whole new manner. And I hope that you come with me on this journey to find out what actually limits hypertrophy and how can we work around it or work with it or enhance that or negate that step or speed up its power. I guess, well, power is a function of speed also. Force versus velocity. Anyway, I hope that you like this video. I hope to see you in the upcoming videos as I talk to you about what actually limits hypertrophy and what my viewpoint is on hypertrophy and my hypertrophy model, my muscle building model. And I will see you in the upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching. Hey fellow warrior, thank you for watching that. And if you liked that video, you would also like to know that I've made my workouts and meal plans completely available for free. All you need to do is go to my website, which the link will be in the description of this video, and pick your poison, whether if you want to gain muscle or look fat and look completely shredded. You can pick whichever style of workout suits you better, and you can pick the meal plans according to your goals. Don't miss out on the opportunity, as for now they are completely free.